Well, welcome back to another one of our primary assemblies. It's great to be in your school again. It's great to see you again, boys and girls. Staff, thank you for tuning in, switching on, downloading, however you found us. It's great to see you again. Well, this continues our series looking at the stories that Jesus told in the New Testament when he was actually walking on the earth 2,000 years ago. And we continue to tell them because woven within them, as I said before, are amazing truths, amazing things for us to put into our own lives, important lessons for us to learn and remember. Well, over the last few weeks, we've been keeping something in our memory bag to remind us of the stories, haven't we? Let's see if we remember. Let's see if I remember, boys and girls. Okay, so, we put a clock. We put a clock in, didn't we? Can anyone remember? What else? Oh, yes. And we put some 50, not pounds, 50 Monopoly money tokens, didn't we? To remember, it was supposed to be £50, but I haven't got many £50. Certainly I haven't got a watch like that. What was the story? Anyone remember? It starts with an Ev. Start again. Everybody gets there. Everyone gets the same, yes. Weird. It's amazing. A really difficult story to get our heads round. That the people who arrived at the end of the day got the same amount of money. The people who worked right the way through the day. Didn't seem fair. But it wasn't about our understanding of fair. It was to try and explain how God is fair. He loves everybody the same. It doesn't matter whether we listen to him or whether we follow him or not. He wants us to follow him, but the most important thing is he loves us the same. Whoever we are, whatever we think or believe, absolutely. Okay, what's next? Oh yes. What about this one? This story was the parable of the two chipmunks? No, that's a different book. That's certainly not in the Bible. The parable of the two sons. Yes, the two sons who changed their minds. Do you remember? The dad who said, can you help me with picking grapes? And one son said, yeah, no problem. Yeah. He maybe didn't speak like that. And then he changed his mind. And the other son who said, no, I'm not helping. I want to play with my mates. And then he thought, better help my dad. It's the right thing to do. So, choices, lessons about us doing the right thing, making good choices and sticking to it. No matter when everyone else does something different, maybe. Right. Oh, yes. What have we got here? Oh, yes, we've got the plastic plant. Yes, the plastic plant. What else have we got in here? Oh, yes, let's hope it's still here. What was this one? This one. Oh, my word. They're going everywhere. This was the parable of where's the farmer or the sower? Yeah. The farmer who sows seed, sowing is like, not sewing as in stitching, like making clothes. Sowing as in planting seed. That's what sowing is in gardening terms. I know these things. So yes, reminding us to be good soil so that all the seeds, things that we learn, things that we understand in life, that we are good soil so things grow. So we grow healthy and strong. So our minds are healthy and our bodies are healthy. Yes. And our spirits are healthy. Healthy too. Our spirits are healthy too. When we grow up to know that God loves us and He's got good plans for us. Yes. What about this one? Ooh, we've got a couple left. Yes. A pig. A miniature pig. And what else in here? Oh. What else was it? Yes. What's this story about? It was the parable of the prodigal son, or the lost son. The son who wanted his money that his dad owed. He would have given him at some point in his life. And he wanted it now, didn't he? And he ended up feeding pigs. And then he was so hungry he nearly ate the pig's food. Ooh, imagine that. Oh, I don't want to. Yes. Well, reminding us to be grateful for what we have and not always want more. Or not want it now. Be patient. Be patient because good things come if you can wait for them. And they're always better when you wait. Ooh, last one. Before today's story. Last one. Oh, another one of those. There we are, escape. Oh, another bit of plastic plant. Was this story, wasn't it? It was. It was the parable. It was the parable of... What was it? It was a man who'd gone on a journey, and some of the people found this man had got hurt and he needed help, didn't he? And some people ignored them and walked around, left him to struggle and suffer because he was hurt. But then one man decided, even though he probably shouldn't have gone near him because he was not really, they didn't get on, these people, they were different to each other, they just didn't get on. But he decided he's going to do something about it. Yes, it was. It was a great story. A story where one man does something to help his brother, someone else who really needs him. Yeah, to care for someone. And in this story, we remember the guy who did something to help the other man who was poorly. He went, remember, he put him on the back of his donkey and took him to an inn and paid for all his medicines and said just pay for whatever he needs. So in here we have some plasters and we have a tea bag, because maybe that's something you could do. You could get a plaster for somebody. You could maybe make them a drink, maybe even a cup of tea. Yes, right. Today's story, another amazing story. It's all about, you know, when someone really annoys you, really annoys you, and you just think, right, I'm going to get my own back. Maybe your brother, or your sister, or your parents, or maybe someone in school, or maybe a teacher. Nah, I don't think we're not going that far. Imagine somebody really annoys you. Well, would you ever forgive them? Would you ever forgive them and say, it's okay, you annoyed me, you got it wrong, you hurt me, you upset me, but I forgive you. We're thinking about forgiveness when we don't just take our own anger out on someone when they've upset us. We say, it's okay, we forgive you. We don't give them what they perhaps deserve, we give them something else far more, a gift of forgiveness. Our story is all about forgiveness. How are we at forgiving others? Let's find out in the story, and we'll talk to you later. See you later. Peter asked Jesus a question one day.
Jesus, if my friend hurts me, then how many times should I forgive him? How about 7 times?
Not just 7 times, Peter, but 70 times 7, which is a lot of times. And if you do the maths, it's 490 times. It was probably just Jesus' way of saying that a friend should forgive someone as many times as necessary. So, Peter, let me tell you a story. A certain king discovered that one of his servants owed him a huge amount of money. So he had the servant brought to him.
You owe me so much money, and now is the time to pay. It's not just 10 coins or 100 coins or thousands or millions. You must pay me back everything, or I'll take your house, your wife, your children, even your little dog, and everything you own until the debt is paid.
The servant fell to his knees and pleaded.
Oh, please have patience with me. I will pay you everything I owe.
The king looked at the servant. The king crossed his arms. The king thought and thought and thought. And finally the king said something that must have surprised the servant.
All right, I'll cancel the debt. You owe me nothing. You're free to go.
Thank you.
But as he went on his way, he met another servant, a servant who owed him money. Not a lot of money, hardly any at all, in fact, just a tiny bit. The first servant pointed and screamed at the second servant.
You need to pay me what you owe me.
The second servant fell to his knees and pleaded.
Oh, have patience with me. Please give me more time and I'll pay everything back.
But the first servant had no mercy.
I'm going to have you thrown in prison until you've paid me what you owe me.
And that's what he did. What he did not know was that the other servants were watching. They went and told the king. And when the king heard what had happened, he had the first servant brought to him again.
On your knees! You are a wicked servant. I cancelled your huge debt. Why couldn't you do the same with that tiny debt? You should have shown the same mercy I showed you.
Then the king had that servant thrown into jail until his debt was paid. And so, Peter, that's what God will do if we don't forgive those who hurt us. Well, the servant in today's story, he was given an amazing gift, a gift of forgiveness. All the things he owed, all that money he owed the king. And the king said, it's okay, I forgive you. You don't have to pay anything back. Can you imagine? He must have danced his way out of that court where he'd been with the king. He must have been so happy, rushed to see his family and friends and say, I have had my debt wiped clean. I'm free. I don't owe anything. What an amazing gift the king gave him. But then he goes and finds someone who owed him a few coins, a few small coins. And he demands it back. He says, hey, I want my money back. How ungrateful. He'd been given, he'd been forgiven all that amount of money, that massive amount of money. And then he wasn't prepared to forgive someone else a few small coins. You can understand why the king said he hadn't learnt his lesson. He needed to learn his lesson in prison. Wow. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is a gift that we need to give. Forgiveness isn't something that we hold back. And if we do hold it back, we actually suffer because forgiveness is something we need to give. It's important. It can be difficult to forgive at times. If somebody perhaps calls you a name that you don't like, and you still remember the name they called you. Or maybe someone who was a bit rough when you played a game, or someone didn't include you at a party, or someone said something and you're not happy what they said and you think it was cruel or mean. We all say cruel or mean things sometimes. We all do things which are unkind or a bit thoughtless or uncaring. All of us do. So we all need to try and forgive one another and say, it's okay. It did upset me, but I forgive you. We can start again. We can still get along. We can still be in the same team. We can still be in the same club or in the same friendship group. It's all right. I forgive you. You see, Jesus was the one who forgave all, and he forgives all. And he showed us how to forgive. So we need to try to forgive. So when somebody owes us something, or someone upset us, someone has said something or done something which we're upset about, we have a chance this week to say, it's okay, I forgive you. I challenge you, boys and girls. I challenge you, adults, and I'm challenged too, to forgive others when they upset us. Because we would want them to forgive us, wouldn't we? We would, and we do. So, let me pray for you now. Lord Jesus, thank you for the amazing story of the unforgiving servant. Help us to learn that lesson. Help us, when we're forgiven, to be willing to forgive others. And even when they don't forgive us, help us to be willing to say, it's okay, I forgive you. It's okay, I forgive you. It is okay, I forgive you. Help us to do that in your name. Amen. Well, I hope you found today's story really, really challenging, really interesting. It's a really important lesson to forgive one another, isn't it? Forgiveness is an important gift worth giving. So, See you next week.